Hi everyone, my name is Helena.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors and coaches to build a business on your terms. And the buzz in our business...
New setup.
New setup, new scenery. We're not 100% sure it'll stay like this, so treasure it while you can.
I'm moving my furniture around my house and just trying out different furniture against different backgrounds.
We're quite liking it, to be honest. So, by all means, make a comment about that. Or, for sure, if you are doing a hashtag replay, which we know most of you do in terms of wherever you are in the globe, please, 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 if you're watching this again, do a hashtag replay, because we do like to know, how much later you're watching them.
I know Amy was going to be watching from over the pond as normal, because she said this is going to be a good live that she wants some advice on.
Which is a really, really good thing. She's also got a very, very good term for this live. We, of course, are talking about when to fire a client. But before we do anything else, hi Joe, welcome. Before we do anything else, do tell us the buzz in your business. We would love to know what's going on, what's intriguing, exciting, and, just buzzing you up. I said last week, I managed to pin her down, and we actually have the Christmas party sorted for all of our change makers. So if you're a change maker, you know that the Christmas party is happening on the 3rd of December. If you're not, then look out for the awards in the Connection Hub on the 17th of December. So we are gearing up for that, aren't we?
We are. We love our awards. So you might have been in the hub if you've been with us for last year.
Yeah.
We do, I think it's about 12 different awards for all different things of engagement and achievement of all of our Connection Hub members. Yeah. So we'll be live streaming that on our last
Facebook Live of the year.
And giving out our awards.
Which is a really good thing. The only other thing buzz-wise is that I have actually pinned down the 2 dates for the final vision boards of the year. They are a little bit of a, I hold a wonder space on the 31st of December as normal in central London. And actually I'm going to be doing the same on the 7th of December, because some people do like to do it a little bit early in anticipation of, what's coming up in the next year. And of course the next year is that whole 2020 vision, which is amazing. So yeah, if you care to join me, end of a decade into a new one. So if you fancy joining me, by all means, go and have a little look at that. We are about to really talk about when to fire a client, as I said. And it was really weird because we put this on the schedule weeks ago, I think. And then Gary King yesterday in the Connection Hub, if you're not a member, by the way, that's where all the conversations really happen and where the polls happen. And so Gary King actually put a poll in yesterday, literally saying, why would you fire a client? And we're like, oh, well, we're about to tell you that. So here we are. So really what we want to highlight for you and address is the importance of you hanging out with clients that you really love working with, and why hanging out with those that you don't isn't a good thing.
So we've just got approval from the fashion stylist Daisy that she's loving the mustard chairs.
Ooh. Actually, Daisy, we were talking about you a moment ago.
Because last time we did a live on these chairs, her necklace fell off, and she's just had talked about the conversation about you just did a live with the fashion side of things. So you were in our thoughts. And hi, Andrea, and hi, Kieran. Nice to see you all, and everybody else that's on live.
So the thing that we really want to do is ensure that you are working with the right clients, because actually working with the wrong clients has the potential to not only wear you down, but it also has the potential to damage your reputation. And we really don't want that. So we want you to really pay attention to who are you working with and how are they making you feel, how are they making you behave, and what is actually happening in that relationship that you might want to actually fire them. We're not so much going to talk about how you fire them, although we might touch on that a little bit. We, of course, want you to work on your terms all the time. It is your choice about choosing why you do the work that you do, who you actually do the work with, when you do it, and for how long. So ultimately, what we want to highlight here is you get to choose, right? You're in charge of your cash flow, you're in charge of your own credibility. And those two things are greatly impacted by your clients.
And on your terms, we're all about encouraging you to build businesses that you want to work in, that you love. And your clients, for most of you, are the central part of that.
Yeah.
So we need to work out, okay, I don't want to just pick clients. I know, Amy, you were saying this in your comments of the post, that I need these clients because I need to pay the rent, right? I need the money. But if I could choose, I wouldn't choose those clients.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through, actually, the process of
the signs, the signals of, who are these people that you might choose not to have.
But what it's costing you, right? Because that's what people don't see. They know that they need the money to pay the rent, but they actually don't realise what it's costing them in their business. And you're creating this business, guys, because this is your empire, this is your livelihood, this is something that which you are living and breathing and you're fully embodying. So we want to make sure that you're loving your clients as well as the work that you do.
Yeah, because, and again, you get to set it up. And so... what's interesting about that is that over time, the client that you used to love isn't the time that it sort of stops becoming that client, and actually you start kind of going, they are pitters, as Amy would say. Did you see that?
I did. And Daisy just said that she had one that made her feel undervalued, so she's been in a dump for months afterwards.
Oh, bless you, honey. And so that's actually exactly why we're doing this. So the biggest thing for us is we want you to be really kind of efficient with your time, energy, your resources, your skills, how you're actually sharing that out, and choosing the client base. As Kelly said, you're at the heart of it, but your work with people directly, or for a lot of you it's still direct work as opposed to the indirect, more automated way of doing things. So you want to be really careful about that. So we always talk about your avatar, we're always going to talk about that. So this might just be an invitation to think about that more carefully, and think about who you are currently working with and whether they fall into some of the categories we're going to go through. One of the biggest things is that we really want you to feel appreciated, valued, and that you're creating progress, because of course those things then speak volumes for how you feel in the business, but also for the results that you're creating that then attract more people that you want to work with, because your stats, your credibility, and your results all come from the work that you do with people. So you're in charge of that. So we're going to say like attracts like. Your value base absolutely kind of shines out. And if you're feeling good and great about your business, if you have clarity about your avatar, you're going to enjoy the work that you're doing, and you're going to attract even more of those, right?
And I know you're going to like the client that Andrea's just got, because she's loving them at the moment because they're bringing her cupcakes.
Get in, girl.
Way to Helena's heart.
Get in. Bring me cake.
And Jo said that she's lucky enough to work with clients that she loves now. She's felt the pain of working with the wrong clients a few times, and it's not good.
Yeah.
And I know that we've all been there, right?
But we can learn from that as well, right?
That helps us set our boundaries. It helps us set, as Helena says, who our ideal client is, who our avatar is, so that we can learn that actually we might think that we wanted this, but then we've started working with them and go, actually, they're the wrong type of person.
Yeah.
So it's really important. And it's also really good to remind yourself, and this is really the ultimate point of this live, is to give you a little sense check of things to look at with your clients, to actually go, okay, are they hitting these points? Because actually then it's you telling yourself it's time to get rid, it's time to move on.
Yes.
And Jo's just said, I think the wrong client can affect your mental health 100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
And we don't want that.
So, as we just said about avatar being really important, what we want you to think of first of all is how can you set it up so that you don't attract the wrong type of client, first of all, right?
Agreed.
So it's also doing the work once you've got them, but actually let's bring in the people that you really want.
Yeah.
So I'll put a link in here. We did do, a few weeks back, we did a call, a training about client discovery calls.
Yes.
So I'm going to put the link in here so you guys can refer to that, because that's a really good thing to do a sense check beforehand, not just for you, but for your client as well, to understand that you're right match and you offer what they need, and you do some evidence of how you can work together, your style, but also check out if that person's willing to do the work.
Yep.
Have they got the money? Have they got the time? Have they got all the things that sometimes are causing you nightmares?
Have they got the desire? Because sometimes they hire you, and this is very much in a one-to-one scenario, and it can also be in the B2B scenario too. Have they got the desire to actually change? Because they might say they do, but do they really?
Yeah. And Kieran's just said here that he uses his gut. It feels wrong, then it's wrong.
Yeah.
If there's no progression, then signpost a more appropriate help.
Yes.
Then they might need an earlier stage intervention, Kieran, than you. You might be a bit too full on for them, or where they need to do more baby steps before they come to you. So 100%, we're all about, tapping into your intuition and feeling into a client, as well as looking at them, what do they look like on paper.
Completely. I really want to go off on a tangent right now.
Daisy's saying, love calling it chemistry calls, because it really, if we click, right? Yeah, love that. Chemistry calls, love that.
And so I will just.
I said no.
I'm not going off on the tangent that I was going off on. I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to get you a little blanket just for your legs, and we're all good to go. So the one thing I also want to say is that actually a lot of the time you might have those chemistry calls or meetings on a B2B scenario with one person, but actually you want to do your due diligence. God, I can't say that today. Due diligence today. You want to do that because what is the organization? What's the value set behind the organization? Because who are you likely to encounter as you do the work, as you do the delivery? Because you agree with one set of people, the senior leadership team, for example, or the MD if it's a small organization. But actually what's the rest of the organization like might also have an impact on the fact that you're delivering in that way. So do you just want to put that caveat in?
I'll allow that one.
Thank you. Trust me, the other tangent is a different live altogether.
And so we have done one around that, but I haven't got the link handy. So
speak no evil.
Zip. So the next thing to do to help do the preventative work, as well as doing the chemistry calls, as Daisy would say, is actually to offer trial periods with people. So it actually gives them, 1, 2 or a month worth of actually coaching or working with you, just to make sure that you actually like each other's styles, that you are a fit, for you to get to know each other and actually give them some tasks to go, did they do what they said that they were going to do, or if they come back with loads of excuses. So trial periods are really good. And that then says, okay, when you work with them, okay, let's do these few sessions and then we'll go into a 12-month or 12-week or however long coaching program with each other. Once we know that we're a good fit for each other. So that's a really good way of not wasting your time and then having to get out of a long-term relationship with a client that you don't love. I think it's really important as well that you set expectations. So in your marketing, in your client discovery calls, you tell them your style of coaching and you tell them right up front what your expectations of them are. Yeah. So, a lot of you will know that we're very different. So Helena is much more of a coach and I'm much more of a consultant. So if you want to have the information drawn out of you and you want that process of actually self-discovery, you'd go and work with Helena. Yeah. If you want somebody to just have all the systems and strategy and how do I build a membership site and how do I do this and then you'll come to me because I'll just tell you how to do it and give you all the implementation. So that's a really good thing in your marketing, to know why they're coming to you. Yeah. So that if somebody came to me, I can do the coaching. It's not what I love, but I can do it as part of the process. Yeah. But you're going to be a much better fit to go with Helena first of all, and then come over to me for the strategy side. That's it.
And that's that piece that Kelly was just saying about, and that Kieran kind of highlighted, is that if you know the kind of coach, consultant, mentor that you are, and you set that expectation, it also means that you can sort of absolutely define when you're having the chemistry call, who they need to go to just before, and explain to them why they need to go there first. And then on the back of the work they do there, then they come to you and you collaboratively do it. That's why we always say, partner with people who have your customers before you and after you.
So it's really good for you to let them know your style, but then it's really important that they commit to your expectations and what you expect of them. So for example, if your thing was, if they didn't turn up to 1 or 3 coaching sessions in a row without any good reason, right, like someone's been taken ill or whatever, then that's a time to terminate the working together, because it shows that they haven't got the lack of commitment. But you need to tell them up front that, look, you get 3 strikes with me, and the third strike we finish the conversation. So these are all things about managing expectations. Kieran said the mindset of the person is key. If they have victim mindset, they won't be receptive to the idea of accountability.
I had to sack somebody like that just the other
day. So that this brings up my point, right? And this is something which I know a lot of you are going to be like rolling your eyes, but for all of us, for both the client and for you, contracts are essential. Right? Contracts are the place that outline your T's and C's, outline your style, outline your expectations, outline the program that they're going to work with. And this gives that person that peace of mind and security that they know what they're getting into, they know what they're taking on board, they know what type of results to expect and how it's going to be delivered. So it's a really nice comfort blanket for your client, but it's the essential piece when you want to fire a client.
Yes. Tony Hayes, Zappos, ex-Zappos, they have a system within the place that actually says hire slow, and by slow they mean 6 weeks. Hire slow, fire fast. Like, they literally will get you out of the building straight away for exactly that reason.
Yeah. I'm just reading Daisy's post.
Yeah.
I had a chemistry call recently, and I made very clear that I won't throw fairy dust at them to look fabulous. I have a system and a structure and rules, not just fairy dust. Love that. And you've
Brilliant.
You have fairy dust too, darling.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do.
But there's a whole
the fairy dust sits on top of the structure and the system.
So I think that really this is something, this is a call to action for you guys, is to, one, review your contracts.
Yes.
And two, if you haven't got them in place, get them in place, right? I think there's quite a lot of, I have accessed free templates of coaching contracts from a company called lawbite.co.uk. I'll put them in the thing. So you can actually sign up. I think you can get about three or four contracts for free and download them. And obviously I would highly encourage you to obviously
personalize them, check them out, and personalize them to the program that you're actually doing. So you may actually have one contract for the coaching that you do, one contract for the consulting that you do, for example.
It might be the fact that you've got a group coaching program, which is a different contract to a one-to-one, to a strategy day, to a blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because when you say that, then people then know that, so somebody has one-to-one coaching with us, they have one-day intensive, but that they know that they have a 3-hour follow-up call whenever they want in the next month or so after we've worked with them to then help answer any questions that have come up. So again, that's part of the contract, that then they know that they have that security, but we know that if that person then wants another half a day or 6 hours worth of calls, it's an additional session because we're saying we give you 3 hours.
And it makes it clean and clear around the financials. It makes all of those discussions so much easier for you as well. And because some of you, not all of you, struggle with those financials and actually saying those things, right?
But this is my point, is most people find it really hard to fire a client.
Yes.
And so when they have breached your terms of your contract,
makes it easy.
Then it's really easy because you can go, look, section 2.4 says if you miss 3 sessions in a row or 3 sessions in total, then I terminate the contract. If you do this, if this has happened. So it just basically gives you that grounds, and you're making it on a mindset decision rather than an emotional decision. So you can take the emotion out of the firing the client and actually go, look, it's in black and white here and this is why I'm doing it.
And it makes it so much easier for you and them to understand, and referring to a third source is always a good thing. So let me take you through some of the...
let me just, sorry.
Go for it.
Daisy's saying on termination, would you refund them? So this is important. Again, it's in your contract.
Yes, put it in there.
And so some people that I know will have guarantees. And so Tony Wynyard is the one that you can look at and check him out for this. But I know Gary King, who also posted about the post, he does a whole 100% guarantee on a coaching session anyway. If you don't feel that you've got value, you have that option to refund. I think it's really important that you set that really clear in your terms and conditions. So say, for example, you're running a seminar. I would say that you'd guarantee anyone that they can have a refund, but they have to leave in the first break of the day rather than at the end because they've experienced the whole day and don't get a refund. So I would say if you're in this trial period, then you can give them a refund, right? If they say that I'm going to have a session with you, and if you felt it was no value whatsoever, then you can get the refund. But I wouldn't basically have it for a month of working with them and then they refund. They can just say, okay, we didn't click.
And here's what I'm also going to say. You may know that your methodology, your framework actually means that it's really hard in months 2 and 3, but actually things start to come together in months 5, 6, 7 or something like that. So you might need to think about, how does the refund work? Because actually a lot of people need to go through the hardship of months 2 and 3 in order to actually get to that result stage in 4. So you may actually want to set up your contract so that they can either skip out, sort of in month 1 and go, no, chemistry doesn't work, or in month 5 when there's actually a guarantee of your methodology working, because this is partly about you backing yourself and what you do, because you're promising a result, right?
And let me give you a bit of an insight tip for coaches out there that are watching this. The first session or the first month, let's say, or the first session, is really always about helping them discover what the problem is.
Yes.
Right? So if you're doing that and you're actually helping them bring that out and raise their awareness of why they're having the problem, why they're stuck, then if I would say once you've got to that level, then you can give them a refund.
Yeah.
Because actually what you've done there is you've been more of the coach bringing it out of them. You haven't actually given away any of your IP or any of your methodology, which is, you know, unique to you, which is what they should pay for.
Yeah.
But they have the awareness, and also you're going to get less refunds at that stage when they go, shit, I didn't realise I've got all this baggage and this stuff to deal with. I need you to help me through it.
Yep.
So that would be my advice, Daisy, is I know what you do in fashion, is I wouldn't go straight in and do their colour chart and all that stuff with them, because that's, you know, really unique to them. But actually work out why they need your work, when do they need to work out what clothes to wear, have they got a confidence issue, have they got too many clothes, so actually help them understand what the problem is.
Well, it's really interesting, because a lot of the time we talk about this from the flip side of we, or you as marketeers, as deliverers, need to earn the right before you educate.
Teach.
You have to engage and thereby earn the right in order to educate. In this instance, it's actually flipped around, and they need to understand the level of problem and what they've been doing so far that's created the problem. So they need to earn the right to get the solution, if that makes sense.
So once you've got that, okay, are you aware of the problem? Then you can go into the contract. Are you willing to do what's going to take to then get to the end result that you want? And that's when the coaching contract comes into place.
And you can actually have that conversation even during the chemistry call. At the end of the chemistry call, if somebody says yes, you can then lay out those expectations right then and there, and then confirm them obviously in documentation. I will get there eventually to these.
Kieran's saying, what about financial infringements? Say if they miss a payment or a payment plan. So we're
okay,
going to cover
coming on to that right now.
But again, it's all in your contract. So again, it's up to you. Like, we know that things happen. We know that sometimes your bank card goes amiss, and your account details need to get changed, and you might miss a payment or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it's how regular does that happen? Is it a one-off? So this is all in contract.
So these are the decisions that you need to actually kind of think about. So I'm going to run through a little list of those that we put together eventually. So, sort of, but actually we want you to think about this list and then add to it by all means. But, and feel free to add, in the comments here, if there's something that really kind of works for you that you actually want to highlight, then by all means do. We're not saying this is a comprehensive and definitive list by any stretch, right? But they fall into these types of categories.
The main bugbears,
exactly. So the first thing is absolutely, do no harm, right? So if a client is physically or mentally abusive, or even just rude or disrespectful to you, that's good cause to sack them, for sure. And again, you need to define what that is for you, but certainly you want to stay safe. And you want to feel safe,
You want to stay safe, you want to be ethical, and this is a values thing, right?
Completely.
So this is about having like-minded, like-valued clients, as well as the people that you hang around with partners.
Interestingly enough, I actually introduced somebody else to my VA, and they weren't as nice as they could have been, shall we say. And thankfully, she and I have a good enough relationship to actually, for her to say, this is what happened. I was straight on the phone and saying, you are sacked from working with my VA. Thank you very much. So that's certainly the first one, first and foremost. Then there's the dishonest client. If they start hiding things from you, if they basically essentially show that they're not trusting you, then they're going to be so hard to work with that you are never going to get the result that you were hoping for them, and they are never going to get the result. A relationship, a coaching, consulting, mentoring relationship is founded on trust. So absolutely, if they are dishonest or you stop trusting them to do what you've agreed, that's a good reason internally for you to sack them.
Yeah.
The next one, kind of almost flip side of that, is about they start to make unreasonable demands. Maybe they,
never had
that. Going beyond the boundaries. And actually, we did do a brilliant call on this somewhere in the 40s. I don't know.
I'll put the link into here on a live that we did around boundaries.
Exactly. And so this is about boundaries. If they start stepping over your boundaries, and again, back to what Kelly was saying, you can set those out. Those expectations and contracts can be set out for you. But, it's reasonable if you are an overnight lawyer that somebody calls you at 2 a.m. because they've got your number. That's reasonable, right? But unreasonable if it is somebody that you are coaching on the business in some way. So again, you get to define what's reasonable and not reasonable for the realms of your business, but also the realms of your on your termsness.
And this should be everything, right?
Yes.
This should be how quick do you respond to emails when you have your
48
automatic...
hours, 24 hours, 8 hours, 2 hours.
But also, you know, if you ever messaged us on our Facebook page, it tells you that we don't respond over the weekends traditionally. All these things to set the expectations up. And you then should not feel compelled that if a client rings you at 9 o'clock at night on a Friday night, you don't answer, right? Because that's not what your job is. You're not here. Because the thing is, this is when we talk about like attracts like.
Yeah.
Is that when you do it for one client, they go, oh my God, it was so great. She rescued me at 9 o'clock at night.
That's it.
They expect you to then do it again and again.
And again and again. And now you're in boundary bleed time, and now you're not enjoying the work that you do. And of course, this is about working on your terms, which includes enjoying what you do.
And this is great, right? Daisy said, I remember a client who expected way more than is agreed. So I quoted her an extra hours of work, and she never heard from her again. Right, so people like
I like it when they sack themselves.
But people like lawyers and you know psychotherapists or whoever it might be are used to charging by the hour.
Yeah.
They have no qualms in adding an extra hour in of consultative time when you go over it.
Yeah.
And we should be actually valuing our time in the same way.
Yeah. And there is nothing to prevent you if you've already set that up to actually say, look, we've done the 3 hours, we could do an extra hour because we're in it, we're on it, and we just want to get it done. Are you up for that? Are you good with that? And so your job is to manage that process if you get to that. So another thing is what Kieran was just talking about. You know, if they consistently are really slow to pay, or they ask for a reduction in fees, or they're kind of, Gary, I think, or somebody put in the term scope creeping, which we quite liked, you know, kind of where they're just expanding the edges of what else is needed. Oh, could you just, that kind of phrase. If they're doing that sort of thing, or they argue about, after you've agreed, they argue about the pricing, then you actually really want to be in a position where you're questioning, do you want to be working with these people?
But again, really important, if you've got the contract, it lays it out.
It's like, where does this say this?
What they're getting, how much time. And
but here's the thing. They might want a little bit more time for you, but you might actually just want to honor the contract that you've got and say, no, thank you. I can't actually accommodate that. I don't have the capacity for it, if you're not actually willing to do it. So you get to choose. And that's the whole point we're making here over and over and over again, right?
But it's really, like Kieran said about missed payments and things like that, make sure that you're fair in your contracts, right? So you can say, look, if you've had a missed payment because of a faulty card or whatever it might be, we honour you, we give you a week to make that back up, because sometimes you have to get a new bank card. I've had my husband just go through this. So all that type of thing of having fraud, you might have to change all your details. So give them the leeway. Sure. But it's a real, what I call red flag if this keeps on happening, because obviously there's either a cash flow issue. Or it's the fact that they're actually not prioritising your work and paying other people first. Agreed. So again, that's a bit of disrespect.
And the key term there that Kelly's using is the red flags. You know the red flags, but you define them for yourself. And when you actually think about what are all the red flags, those are the things you can put in the contract.
And Amy's saying bingo, or they always want extra stuff for free.
Yeah, great. So you lay out, here's what you get. And if you want something else, you can pay more.
Yeah.
And
this is why
you can go to someone else.
And this is why we love having lots of free resources. So we can say, look, we've got 90 odd free trainings in the Connection Hub. Go and watch them. We've got about 16 lead magnets. And we've got lots of stuff to help you, which doesn't mean me swapping time for money. So you're not leaving them high and dry. But they need to respect that you are a business, that you have capacity issues.
But you're the person that drives that. And that's actually what we're saying. So we're saying it's down to you to take the ownership over this. So the client that actually kind of plays you off against the competition to try and reduce the fee, you might not want that person. It's like, great, go with the competition, because that's likely to happen in that negotiating kind of weird way, that's almost partly down to the disrespect of what you're able to do, right?
And I think, I'm sure many coaches that are watching this will agree with me here. The ones that I've maybe leewayed a little bit and done a bit of discount and they've paid less.
Damn already.
Are the ones that are actually the most demanding.
High maintenance.
And high maintenance. And I'm like, oh my God, you're paying less and you're a nightmare client, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, one, they've got to... We've done a whole training on how to price your products.
Yeah, and valuing yourself along that.
Why you're priced the way that you're priced, there is no real reason for you to ever discount, because then that is then going back on why you've priced yourself at that level.
Exactly.
So, but that whole nightmare, as Helena said, don't take them on. If they're playing you off about somebody else, you know you're strong, why you've priced yourself that way.
It's actually, they are showing you how they are going to be. It's that whole leopard doesn't change its spots type of thing. They're showing you,
and Daisy's saying
it's going to be good.
You resent them as well when you go down. Yeah.
And that's exactly where we're going to go with this, because they are. They're just, as Amy put it, they are pitters, a pain in the arse. Which I completely and utterly love.
Love that term.
Right, I know, right? They're pitters. That's how it is. Now, so the goal, the client that changes the goalposts all the time as well, that can be really wearing and confusing, and actually you just want to let go of that person. Or you want to have the conversation that says, you get one final chance to do that, and then we're done. And of course, the flip side of that is the ones that say, yes, I'm going to do that, and then just don't follow your advice. Like, what?
Yeah, the ones
Why
that
would
don't
you
take
do that?
and that's so
The
important
action.
as a coach, is that, like, we can sit here and help you, but we can't do the work for you. So those clients that go, oh, but can you just do it for me? I mean, that's like the worst sentence in the world for someone who's coaching someone to hear. So
and it's really, really interesting. So this morning I actually did have a video testimonial where it was obvious that if I did do over and above, because I get to choose, you get to choose as the coach or consultant, that actually if I did this one tiny piece of work, that everything would start to flow again. So you get to choose. And that was exactly what happened. So I actually did do the piece of work as part of the coaching, which now has just elevated things to a new level. So this is also about you matching your expertise and managing your client. You cannot trust your client to know what you know. And that's the vital bit here. So when they try and change the goalposts, or when they are being high maintenance, you need to use the expertise and the knowledge and the experience that you have to actually explain to them why what they're saying won't work, because they've hired you to help them.
To go into, as we say, the Joseph Campbell's hero journey, you're taking them into the unknown. The only way they're going to get out of the unknown is through your support and guidance, because you've been there, done it, and got the t-shirt.
That's it.
Kieran's saying for the finance dodgers, they usually say about the stuff is free on the net, but they don't know how to implement it. And that's why you need a coach, right? That we were in a world of information overload.
Oh my word.
But
how
still,
do I choose?
People are procrastinating. People aren't getting the results because they don't know how to implement it, which is why you're there.
Yeah. So, that's the love that we have. And of course, it almost goes without saying, but I'm going to say it, if they are likely, if working with them is likely to put you into legal difficulties because they're doing something unethical, obviously you want to get out of Dodge.
Yeah, it's a reputation thing,
isn't
it? Not that you'll take somebody on unethically.
Hopefully, with everything that we've just talked about, chemistry calls.
If you've uncovered some of the work and you realise what they're doing when you're coaching them, you go, okay, and that's in your contract, right? So
I step away.
Breach of contract for that.
So hopefully you'll recognise, hopefully you won't recognise, that's it. Hopefully you won't recognise any of your clients in that, but if you are on the edges of it, then sort of just pay attention to it and go, what am I going to do about that?
And this is the bit
and
that
get honest with yourself.
Yeah, what I want to cover now is actually how is it costing you?
Yeah.
Because that's what people don't actually consider.
That's it.
They put up with it, they normalise it, they think that they haven't got any choice, as Helena was saying at the beginning, in the matter.
Yeah.
So therefore that they just go, oh, well, I need to pay the rent, I need to put up with it.
Yeah. Kieran has just actually said about the rules around breaking confidentiality, and that's what Kelly's just saying. So if there is anything that breaches legal and ethical things, you can again put that in your contract so that you are well within your rights to break that confidentiality if you uncover something.
Yeah, and this is like very much if you're in the mental health space or any of those types of things, then that needs to be in your contract so that you know that if they're harm to themselves
it protects
or others,
you and them.
Yeah. So
and the world at large.
The main thing of this life is contracts.
Have you got it yet? Have you got it?
But let's have a look at the costing you. So again, we've looked at what that might look like from red flags, as we call them, from the outside of what the client looking in. But also do a sense check on yourself, on your energy, right? If you've got clients that as soon as your email goes ping or your phone starts going off and you see their name on the screen and you're like, my energy just goes, I just can't be bothered. This is where you're actually draining your energy, because those people are not aligned with you in some way or another. And therefore you're just, in my thing, I don't think you're doing them a good service.
I agree.
Because I think all of us,
we are champions. We're champions. We're cheerleaders. We're the people that actually support you to get them to get where they want to go. And you want someone in your corner who's got your back.
Yeah. But my point is more about when you're really aligned with a client, you will exceed expectations. Yeah. You will go above and beyond.
I did this morning.
Like that. Not as in giving more time, but because you are championing them so well, you really want them to succeed. Yeah. So therefore you're aligned, and that Celestine prophecy side of energy, matching energy, creates more. Yeah. That's what will happen. Now, if there's a lack of energy coming from them because you actually don't believe in them, they annoy you, there's a value alignment, therefore there's not going to be that match. You're not doing them, you're not the best coach for them. No. So therefore, not only are you not wanting to work with them and you're feeling flat, which is not great when you're not spending time with anyone as an individual coach. Completely. All your life is your clients. Completely. You want them to light you up. So think about people that are just have that red flag of how do you feel when they pop onto your phone or in your inbox or on Facebook or whatever it might be, because that's a good indication for are they a right match for you. Yeah. The other thing I want you to think about is your reputation. So reputation in two ways. You've got what Helena was saying with actually about, what you align to and what people are associating. But when you're taking a client on that maybe can't afford your services, or they want you to do the work for you, or they call you at 3 a.m. in the morning, what's going to happen is they're going to start talking to their group of people about you
who are just like them,
and like attracts like, right? So they go, oh my god, I need somebody like that, and I can't really afford it either, but if she gave that deal to that person, and so this is like reputation of what you're known for, what you stand for, ripples out. You're going to start attracting the wrong type of client. The other thing that I would highlight on this as well is it's going to affect your results. Yes. So if you haven't got the ideal client, you've got the tire kickers, you've got the people that won't do the work, it's going to actually diminish and decrease what you're known for as a result, what you do for your clients, what you get, what they get at the end of working with you.
Which then makes it harder for you to actually market your brilliance.
Yes. So, that whole thing of actually saying, 9 out of 10 of my clients increase their sales by 40%, or whatever, and then you've got this one person who's a real pain in the arse, eats all your time, is an energy drain, doesn't do the work, they're actually affecting your stats. So think about the reputation, think about the energy and how much you're leaking energy because you're not aligned with them. Completely. And then think about when people see you working with that client, the impression that gives them of the level of client you're working with, and also what to expect deal wise.
And the way to really double check this, here's a really tangible way. Would I want a video testimonial of this person saying what they got,
what they did
on my website?
So and that's your ideal client. We've done so many trainings in the hub on ideal clients, so please go and watch them.
Oh yeah, please.
But I completely honour, and this is what Amy was saying before the live, the fact that you need some of these clients, especially early on, because you've got bills to pay, right? I'm not going to just skirt over and let's fire everyone that we don't want to work with. Sometimes, as Helena said, we need to work with people to know what we don't want. Completely. Right? So that we can actually make those boundaries, make that contract more specific as we go forward. Yeah. However, what I would want you to do is work out how can you build that income up, whether it's through a digital product, whether it's through something you can do, which is going to replace the income from that client, so then you can let them go as soon as you can, right?
Use them as a springboard. Use them as an energetic springboard that says, okay, I know I want to replace £600 of my income because, on a monthly basis. Okay, great. What can I create? What else is possible? Those possibility questions. What is possible?
Yeah. And that's the point, right? I want you to start. I've experienced this. So type yes in the comments if you've experienced this too. As soon as I've got rid of a client who is on the red list flag, all the things we said, literally somebody comes in or an opportunity comes in to take up and claim that space that person was occupying. And that is so much better, more aligned, and I feel so much freer. And that money comes in from somewhere else. But you have to release the space, the energy that client's taking up to allow something to fill in. We've got the glass overflowing with water. You've got to empty some water out to let it in. So please, if anyone has experienced that, just type yes in the comments that you fired a client and something better has come in pretty much immediately to overtake that, because I do want you to be sensible about having backup plans and maybe creating an additional stream of income to make sure that can come in. But encouraging people to do it sooner rather than later, because those opportunities are awesome.
And you know, the longer you hold on to it, the more your energy actually squashes. So because here's the thing, right? So Kelly talked a little bit about the energy drain, but that feeling of, you know, the relationship that you have with someone that actually is draining you a little bit actually erodes your self-esteem. It erodes your confidence. It stops you thinking you can do the job that you know you can do standing on your head. And yet,
and also from a money, if someone's quibbling over paying you £250 an hour, and your ideal client is wanting to pay you £850 an hour, you're going to be questioning, actually, I don't think, if this client's quibbling over that, I can't charge that amount.
That's right. That's exactly it. So we really do. We're encouraging you to take a look at who is your ideal, what is your ideal, and knowing that it shifts and changes over time as well, as you actually get better at what you do or as you move through. And indeed, as Kelly's saying, so one of the things that you can do is as you outgrow that client base, what can you put in place that still serves them but doesn't actually take up your space and time? So that's a really good way to do it too.
Because back on reputation, we don't just want to fire clients and be really harsh.
No.
Right? So you can say, when you're going through the contract, and say, look, this is what you've breached. Obviously, it's not a right time for you. Obviously, the money's an issue, or you're at the wrong stage. And that's when we go back to, but I think you might be better working with this person first of all and come back to me, right? Because then you're not just going, oh, thanks very much, go away, you're horrible. You're making sure that you're always looking after them.
It's still about caring. Like, you know, sort of weirdly, firing a client is about caring about them and caring about you. So there are two real things here that you can actually do. So check out the feelings that you have about a client, because that tells you a lot about the relationship. You know, that whole kind of like, oh God, it is moaning, or the excitement that you might have, that actually begins to tell you who your A-type clients are and who your D-type clients are. And again, I could go off on a tangent, but I'm not going to. I could teach you something, but I'm not going to do it. We have. Oh yeah, we'll find that one and dig it out. Yes, of course we did. So the other thing though is to check out your behavior, because actually the things you do, the procrastination that you might do, the groaning, the complaining that you might be talking about, or if that person keeps on coming up in conversation in not a very positive way, you kind of understand that there is something wrong. And as soon as you have that awareness, you can't unknow that. And your job is to do something about it, whether you have a contract right now or whether you don't. You still need to do something about it, because if you let it continue, it has all the impacts that Kelly was just talking about. And
you're the coach, so you're responsible.
Exactly.
Like, you should know better.
Yeah. So your job then is to go and have the honest conversation. Now, my big recommendation for you is always to do a 4 intentions. If ever you're going to have a big conversation like this, do a 4 intentions on it. It will make the conversation so much easier, but it allows you to do a firm no that actually both of you end up respecting, and that is invaluable. Because what you're really looking for the whole time that we've been saying this is that only you have the clarity on who you want to serve, how you want to serve them, when you want to work, you know, how long you want to work with them with, and you're in charge of making that happen.
You mean on your terms?
On your terms, that is right.
Kieran said a current internal state will tell you whether you're on the right path.
Of course, every time.
So as a little call to action for you guys after this live, as we've mentioned them before, but do a review of your clients, like we said. Look at that internal state and see that indicator of whether they are creating red flags for you. Make sure you review your contracts.
Yes.
Or write your contracts.
Yes.
One or the other. Check out some of the templates in LawBite. And then make sure that you...
And with that one, check them out per program or product that you actually have, because remember, it isn't one size fits all.
Yeah, and again, make sure that you're ongoing, because sometimes people have a client relationship and they've been through a 12-week program and they haven't signed the new contract when they've gone on something else. So just make sure this is something you should be doing on a quarterly basis, guys. When we talk about your planning, what you're reviewing every quarter, these are things. Are my contracts up to date? Have I got them signed? What new program that's coming up? So all these types of things. And then just make sure that you're really clear on your avatar and that your marketing is outlining the expectations, your style of coaching, you know, the things that you want to put out there of what an ideal client looks like, so that they know that they're a match, and that you're attracting the right person rather than having to fire them when you've taken the wrong person on.
And again, just follow that whole rule of hire slow, fire fast.
We look forward to hearing your comments.
Yes. I'm now going to gracefully get up from the yellow chairs and see what I can actually do.
Have a good week, everyone.